Hello and welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic, where we're taking a look at another Transformers Combiner Wars character. And this week it's going to be Streetwise from the Protectobots line. Now, Streetwise is actually just an art redeco of Dead End from the Stunticons. However, I think he's actually improved a little bit on the overall design, especially in the paint department, where Dead End was just kind of a nice. He looked nice and was very accurate. His paint scheme was just kind of muddy and things kind of got lost in the detail. Because he's mostly white, the little bit of paint that they actually were able to add helped things pop out a little bit more. And I actually noticed some things that I had to go back on Dead End and actually check to see if they were there in the original or not, which I'll get to in a second. You can actually see right here what I'm talking about. Those little panels right there just seem to pop out just a little bit more with the white right there, especially in his kneecaps as well compared to Dead End. I also like the black part of the chest right here. For some reason, yeah, he feels like a good guy, but also someone who's tough. With that lack of blue or gray where you would get the medical feel or rescue feel with first aid or blades, this guy really, to me anyways, he feels like a cop. Like he's there to actually save you and then beat the bad guys to a pulp. There's something too about the sculpt of his head just makes me feel like it's something it's very Japanese to me. I know that's odd. It's based off a toy line and a cartoon that's in Japan. It's just, for some reason, I can't quite remember the name. It just reminds me of some sort of mecha that had to do with cops with giant robots. I'm drawing a blank. I remember seeing it one time and never got the name of it. Now, as far as his wrists, his forearms go, I should want to point out that there's this little part that's carved in right here where my fingers are at. That's something that's lacking on the original Dead End, so they've actually added just a few minor details with these remolds, so it's not completely 100% the same. If you wanted to use your imagination, you can always pretend that that's some sort of laser gun that's right there, that additional firepower that he has. Pew, pew, pew! Which isn't too far of a stretch. I mean, if you remember the original G1 cartoon, they always had little extra weapons that would pop out of side panels or communication devices, or heck, Megatron and Optimus had that mace and that energy mace and axe that pop out that they only ever used once and never again. As far as his articulation goes, his head is lacking a little bit just because of how it's sculpted. You can move it side to side, but you can't move it up and down too much. That's a little bit of a bummer. He still has the same elbow, or I should say shoulder articulation with that ball joint, and this panel still gets in the way just like it did on Dead End. You have the same elbow or wrist articulation, or no, yes, elbow articulation or forearm rotation. Yeah, that should be it. Elbow bending right here. You can count maybe that his wrist has a little bit of articulation right here, but that goes with the transformation. So you can count it. I'm going to count it. His waist can move or swivel around right here. You got the same type of ball joint hips, thigh rotation, and knee articulation, and that's about it. As far as his weapons go, rather than coming with some sort of club or tailpipe sword that Dead End came with, he actually comes with this cool triple barrel shotgun. He's counting bullets and taking names. It just seems something that's a little bit more appropriate for a guy who's going to be a police officer. I just really like the overall look of it. Yeah, I guess, is it a pump shot? Yeah, I'm going to count it as a pump shotgun, even though, yeah, it's probably going to be shooting energon blasts rather than actually bullets. He also comes with this Gatling gun here that forms the foot/hand of Defensor. But yeah, he's really armed and he's really ready to take action. Another nice thing too is he still has those pegs that are right here, so you don't actually have to have this mounted in his hand. He could have one hand free, and if he really needs to, he could just point his shoulder up and just lay waste to the bad guys. Now let's transform Streetwise into his alt mode. We're going to start off by moving his hands all the way in like so. They're these nice tight ratchets, so I really like that. It seems like they're actually going to hold up very, very well over time. Then next we're actually going to move his arms down like so. It doesn't really matter if we do that now or later. Then pop this part off right here, and then we're going to want to move this part of the cab up like here, and then we want to make sure that these little slots or these little grooves fit right into these little slots right here. Just going to make sure to get enough clearance, and then move his chest piece up like so. We're also going to want to rotate his hips all the way around and then open his legs up like this. We're also going to want to flip this part back here, and then we're going to just rotate these up. Make sure his arms are all the way where they need to be. Rotate his legs all the way up like so, and reattach them together, and then just fold these parts in like so. And then last but not least, we're actually going to move his windshield down like this. And there you go. Streetwise is now in his alt mode. Souped up police car. It actually rolls very, very nicely along, even along this table. So that's something I really like. It's unlike a Dead End or some of the other characters that this guy's actually kind of molded or parts have been borrowed from. It doesn't roll too well on some surfaces like this table, but it's not too bad here. Now you can actually fit his double barrel pump blaster gun right here on his side, which, yeah, it kind of stands out just a little bit, but yeah, what are you going to do? Or you can place it right here on the top of his car, so he's actually able to go into battle and shoot things. Actually, it seems a little bit more appropriate to have it on the side. Then you could take his arm cannon or his triple blasters right here and actually place it right here on the top as well. Now, there is this little bar right in there. You can kind of see it. I don't know why they would put that in there. It makes it where you can't really fit this down in there all the way, and it doesn't want to fit too snugly. Other than that, there's actually no other place to put it. You can't put it right here on the back or store it right here on the side. You're kind of limited to just have it up here at the top. It looks a little bit weird to have that mounted on the top of a police car, but then again, this is a Cybertronian police enforcement, so who knows, they might actually need that extra bit of firepower. Now, to transform Streetwise into the leg of Defensor is actually fairly simple. We're going to start off by moving the hood back like so. I'm just going to be able to pop the windshield out just a little bit in order to move it the rest of the way back. Then we're going to move the hood of the car back even further. Now, I'm going to start off by saying that the plastic right here on mine is actually a very, very tight fit, so I'm always worried that I'm going to break it. I don't know if that's all of them or just mine, but it's just something to keep in mind when transforming this guy. We're going to rotate the hood back all the way like this, pop this joint and move it all the way up like so, then take the hand/foot of Defensor, put it here at the bottom, and there you go. Streetwise is now ready to become the leg of Defensor. Now, to transform Streetwise into the arm mode of Defensor is actually almost just as easy as his leg mode. We're going to do the same thing by popping his hood back like so and moving his windshield back, and then being careful to move the rest of his hood of his car back like so as well. We're then going to take this joint right here and move it out at a 90-degree angle. Then open up his legs, almost like we're going to be getting him back into robot mode. I'm just going to get this like this. We're going to take these, separate them, fold it down, and then just rotate them back into place. There you go. And then we're just going to take this part and move it down right here because it's essential for when we actually attach the hand later on. And then we're just going to rotate this around. After that, we're going to move his arms up like so. And there are these little slots right here, these little pegs where it actually fits right in. Almost kind of forming a bicep or tricep. I can't remember. I don't know anatomy all that well. Anyways, after that, we're going to take the arms or the hand/foot of Menasor, or Defensor, I should say. I keep wanting to say Menasor because a lot of these guys are the remolds of the Stunticons. Get the fingers out. Move this down. Get the thumb up, or I should say down in here, and then just attach it right down here. And there you go. Streetwise is now ready to become the arm of Defensor.
Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen today, please help me out by sharing, liking, or even subscribing. Comments and advice are also appreciated. Who knows, something you suggest may appear on the show in the future.